Ready for another deep dive? Today, we're taking a look at a custody battle. That went federal.
Yeah.
It's going to be a wild ride, so buckle up. Okay, so we're looking at this legal opinion. Civil action. No. DKC 1983, District of Maryland.pdf. It's a case from Maryland, and let me tell you, these court documents are usually pretty dry, but this one is juicy.
Oh, absolutely. This is a great example of how family law, which usually happens in state court, can get intertwined with federal court procedures. And trust me, it gets messy.
You said it. Okay, so this case is about Tara Smith. She's in a custody battle with Mark Thompson. They're fighting over their kid, who the documents just call AB. And get this isn't even the first time Smith is trying to take this to federal court. It looks like she sued Baltimore County and a judge before this, claiming conflicts of interest, unfair rulings. That whole thing got dismissed because of something called lack of subject matter jurisdiction. And honestly, that seems like lawyer gibberish to me. Help us out here, expert.
Yeah. Oh, it's not as complicated as it sounds, really. Subject matter jurisdiction just means whether a court can even hear a certain type of case. It's like you wouldn't go to traffic court to argue about, I don't know, a noise complaint.
Right. Different courts for different problems.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. So in Smith's first case, the court decided they didn't have the power to jump into a custody battle. Those are usually handled in state courts. Like, they were being asked to give a verdict on a parking ticket, but in, like, family court.
Okay, so that's one strike against Smith. But wait, there's more. The judge in that first case also mentioned something called the Rooker-Feldman doctrine. That sounds serious.
Yeah, it's a big deal. This doctrine basically makes it even harder for federal courts to get involved in things state courts have already decided on. It's all about making sure both court systems stay in their own lanes, you know?
So it's like trying to get a referee from a baseball game to, like, call a penalty in a hockey match. Totally different ball game.
That's a great way to put it. Each court system has its own set of rules and specialties. You got it.
Okay, so Smith struck out in federal court.
Yeah.
Twice. But this is a legal drama, right? So of course there's more. She's back with another lawsuit. But will the court even hear it this time? That's the question.
All right, so here's where it gets interesting. Smith says her juvenile records were shared when they shouldn't have been. That could be against Maryland law. Oh, and she's also claiming there might be some secret recordings. Of phone calls, even.
Secret recordings. Ooh, this is getting good. So does that mean Smith finally found a way to get this case into federal court?
Well, that's what we need to find out. Even if everything she's saying is true, it still might not be enough for federal court. This is where we get into federal question jurisdiction.
Okay, so federal question jurisdiction. Sounds important. Break it down for us.
This is how you get your case into federal court. Basically, it has to be about the U.S. Constitution or a federal law. Smith is saying these secret recordings break the federal wiretapping law.
Yeah, and that makes sense, right? Secret recordings, wiretapping seems like a pretty straight line.
It does, doesn't it? But it's rarely that simple. See, this wiretapping law is very specific. It's really about stopping people from intercepting communications that involve interstate commerce. Like, think big corporations, spying between countries, you know. Not really about two parents fighting over custody.
So even if there are recordings, trying to use them for a federal case might not work.
Yeah, you got it. Recording phone calls without permission, that might be a problem for privacy, maybe even state laws, but not necessarily a federal crime, you know?
So it's like trying to use a pair of tweezers to, like, chop down a tree. Not really the right tool for the job.
You got it. And it just shows how important it is to really understand those specific rules for different laws and courts.
Okay, so federal question jurisdiction is out because of the recordings. Does Smith have any other options here? There's got to be something.
Wait, maybe one more thing. Diversity jurisdiction.
Diversity jurisdiction. All right, you're going to have to explain that one.
So this one kicks in when the people in the lawsuit are from different states.
Oh, okay. So if Smith and Thompson were from different states, this whole jurisdiction thing wouldn't even be a problem.
Maybe not, no. But, and there's always a but, it seems like Smith and at least one of the other people involved in the case are both from Maryland.
So no luck there either.
Yeah,
it's like every door is slammed shut.
Seems that way, yeah. Without federal question jurisdiction and without diversity jurisdiction, her lawsuit might end up being labeled as, well, legally frivolous.
Legally frivolous. Yikes. That can't be good. That's like the legal way to say nice try, but no.
It's not quite that bad, but yeah, pretty close. Basically, it means they don't think the case has any real legal grounds to be in federal court.
Okay, so let's go back for a second. Smith's first lawsuit got dismissed because a federal court can't really get involved in something a state court should handle. Second try focused on those recordings, but she'd have to prove they broke federal law, which, long shot. And to top it off, they're all from the same state, so no diversity jurisdiction either.
Exactly. This case seems to be hitting a brick wall when it comes to federal court.
Really makes you think about how hard it is to figure out all these legal rules and processes, especially with something as emotional as custody battles.
Yeah, no doubt. This case shows just how tough it can be to find the right court and make the right arguments, even when it seems like something really wrong happened.
Man, we've been talking about jurisdiction and legal stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But this case brings up some big questions, don't you think? I mean, it's a custody battle, already a lot going on there, but then you've got these juvenile records, possible secret recordings. Like, what's okay, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. This really shows how tricky things can get with family law. Trying to balance, like, needing information, but also protecting everyone's privacy.
Yeah, where's the line? Is it ever okay to use, like, someone's past?
Yeah.
Especially stuff from when they were a kid against them now in a custody case. And what
Mhm.
about the kid in the middle of it all? It's complicated.
It really is. The courts, they need to know what's going on to make the best choice for the child. But you're right, we have to think about privacy, making sure using that information is fair. It's a tough balance to strike.
It's like trying to, I don't know, like juggle while you're on a unicycle.
Mm.
In this case, it shows how the legal system, which is supposed to be about fairness, can be so confusing, especially if you don't have a lawyer helping you.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. Tara Smith's case. It's like a crash course in how tough and frustrating the law can be. All these roadblocks, even when it seems like something wrong did happen, makes you wonder, about fairness, about regular people getting help with legal stuff, and what this all does to families going through it.
It's easy to forget with all the legal back and forth that this is about real people. This isn't just a case, it's their lives. We just look at one case, but it makes you think. About the law, it seems so clear in the books, but in real life,
Yeah.
especially with families, it can be anything but.
You got that right. And sometimes the biggest things we learn from a case like this aren't the laws, but those bigger questions about fairness, privacy, what does justice even mean?
Well said. And that's what we want to leave you with today. Getting the law involved, it's complicated. So do yourselves a favor, look into what's available in your own communities. Groups that help people with legal problems, especially family court stuff. You never know when you or someone you know might need that. Thanks for diving into this with us. And remember, knowledge is power.